One, information which would prejudicially affect the sovereignty and integrity of India. And you use the word Malaysia in place of India. Security of the state, strategic economic interests of Malaysia, information, the disclosure of which would prejudicially affect public order and public safety. Now that's going to be used very, very often in our case in Malaysia. Information which may lead to an incitement to commit an offence or prejudicially affect fair trial or adjudication of a pending case. Information, the disclosure of which would prejudicially affect the conduct of center state or federal state relations. Another argument. Cabinet papers, including records of deliberations of the Council of Ministers, Secretaries and other officers. Minutes or records of advice, including legal advice, opinions or recommendations made by any officer of a public authority during the decision-making process prior to the executive decision or policy formulation, trade or commercial secrets, and information, the disclosure of which may result in the breach of privileges of Parliament or the legislature of a state or contravention of a lawful order of a court. Now these are the 8 exemptions that have emerged from the Indian case, but which have been very, very vigorously challenged by right to information citizens and organizations in the country. And I suspect that they will be used also very much so in Malaysia. Now, finally, I want to point to a couple of problem areas which I hope those involved in crafting will deal with. First of all, there is the issue of the competence of the state governments, the subject of the state or concurrent list. Now, will the new law be ultra-virus the federal constitution? That's a big question. Secondly, the OSA is a federal law. The FOI, even if it's passed, Selangor, is likely to take a second-round position, and thus it may be trumped by the federal law. Now, if the BN wishes to continue to exercise control on the flow of information, it is certain to invoke the supremacy of the OSA as a federal law. I think the legal hawks, the legal rights, need to look very carefully into this issue. Now, finally, all of us here and outside appreciate the motivation to have greater transparency, greater public disclosure. But surely this can be achieved even without a FOI. The simplest approach would be to minimize the classification of documents which have been stamped as Russia, confidential, sulit, and so on. Were this to be done, most state documents, tender documents, proceedings of the state cabinets and so on, would be unclassified, and discretion could be used to release them. Now this would, I think, in a very important sense, lead to the bypassing of the OSA in respect of documents generated by the state government. I will leave you with those thoughts. Thank you.